Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to our community group training virtually. Me coming to my backyard, into your home, or wherever you find yourself right now. I hope that you are doing well. I wish we could do this in person. We were supposed to have a training on April the 5th on Sunday afternoon, and now we're doing it like this. Who knew a few weeks ago this would be where we're at, but this is where we are. And so we're trying to embrace where we are, change some things, and find ways for us to stay connected as a church. And so, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to check in with your people. Thank you for taking the time to check out how to do a Zoom meeting or how to get people together, because I feel like right now our people are wanting to be connected more than anything. Now, when we're literally locked down right now and not able to see each other in person, and while we're people created for community, and really that's the strength of Double Oak, we're a community church. I think meeting virtually is all the more important right now to hold us together, to keep us connected, to not feel like we're isolated in the times that we find ourselves in, and so we can be a great encouragement to one another. And I've talked to many of you, and you're doing just that. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for helping us minister to our people. Thank you for helping us do it well. I've heard so many positive things and feedbacks from people who are checking on their folks, who are knowing where they're at, who are trying to shepherd them in this moment that we find ourselves in, and for that I'm very thankful. So thank you for watching this. Thank you for tuning in for a minute. And thank you for all you're doing for our people. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this. What does it look like for us to lead a community group time virtually right now? What does it look like on a Zoom call for you to be able to engage your people and to find out where they're at and how you can serve them, how you can shepherd them, how you can feed them? And so through this short series of videos, we're going to be talking about, first, how do you lead a Zoom meeting? What are the things you should be doing, watching out for? Next, we'll talk about knowing our people. We'll talk about leading our people, feeding and protecting. So we're going to take the gospel coach grid approach. How do we do that in the time that we find ourselves in? So how do we lead this virtual meeting? Well, I'm sure you figured out Zoom or Google Hangout or whatever thing that you're using to connect with your people. So once you're in there, what do you do? Because let's be honest, it can be awkward at first, right? And I think that's where we as leaders have to put ourselves out there and to initiate conversation, to get it going. If you're a group that has loved to do icebreakers in the past, well, I'd say keep on doing them. And now, not everybody has to answer them, because you could have a lot of people on that Zoom call. But you can let a few people answer, like, what's your favorite quarantine snack? That was a good one we did with our community group just the other day. So you can do a lot of different approaches to your icebreaker to be able to get people loosened up, and that, talking to each other through a screen could feel a little less awkward. Another thing you might want to do, even in lieu of icebreakers, is just a check-in right off the bat, allowing people to talk about where they're at and what's going on in their lives, that y'all could encourage each other. And again, while I think that biblical content is super important during this time, that we're pointing people back to God, we're pointing people to His Word, and we'll talk about that in some sessions coming up. But I think right now our people need each other. They need relationships. They need to be reminded that they're not alone, and that not only is God with them, but that you're with them. And even though we're doing that virtually and looking at the screen, we can see faces that we've seen in person, that we have real relationships with. And so right now the Zoom meetings can still be good and a connective time, because it's not the only way that we've known each other. We've known each other before this, and so this is just a way to get us back to meeting in person again. So I think you leading out with a icebreaker or a check-in time, and putting a time limit on that, because some people's check-in could go rather long, and so I would encourage them, hey, let's give the 2 to 3 minute version, and then be able to follow up with people as need be. So I would encourage you, listen to those check-ins, because people are going to tell you where they're at. People are going to tell you what's going on. You might want to make a mental note, or actually write down a note about what people are saying, that you'd be able to follow up with them at a later time. So as you're going through your Zoom meeting, I think that, right now there's some few ways people are doing that. People are watching videos. So right now, media video, people are watching during the week and then coming together to discuss it. Or people are doing sermon discussions. So they're discussing the sermon and sermon questions that are up on our website every week. Or some people are just going through a book of the Bible and just reading it together and asking questions, and how that hits our lives right now. So there's various ways that you can get that content across to them. But I would encourage you, as you're delivering the content, don't just teach it, don't preach it, but do short summaries and ways that you can communicate this biblical truth that you're getting across, but that way it would set up to be relational and conversational. So your teaching isn't so much for knowledge at this point in the community group, it's to set up a good discussion with your people. It's to set up the relational side of that, because this is what people are coming to. They're not coming to the Zoom call just to hear good biblical teaching, even though that's very important. We'll talk about that in a minute. But they're coming to connect. They're coming to connect in relationships. And so somebody asked, what can make a good Zoom call, and why would people come back to connect? It's because they're seeing their friends. They're seeing people that they can't see. And yeah, they're there to be encouraged in the Lord too, but they're also there to connect with one another. So I would encourage you, your content at this point is not just about knowledge. Your content is to set up relational connections for people. So that's the main thing I think we're trying to get across in our Zoom meetings together, is that we're not alone, that God is with us, and that He's for us, and that we're here for each other, that the Zoom time, the meeting time connects us, but then we follow up and we check on people and connect with them outside of that time as well. So see the meeting as just like you did before, a place to connect, a place to discuss God's Word, but to do that in a relational way about how that's hitting their life right now, and that the meeting time can be a setup to follow up other times throughout the week to see where people are at. And I would encourage you, if you have a leadership team, to kind of divide that up amongst yourselves to be able to check on people so that it doesn't all fall on your shoulders. So that's session one, is just about what are we trying to accomplish in these Zoom meetings, which is relational connection by biblical content. And then next we're going to talk about the gospel. In the next few short videos, we're going to be talking about the gospel coach principles. So we'll see you there in the next video.